ओके सांग मला. स्टार्ट करू. Hello friends, I hope you all doing well. Today we will be learning about basic concepts of Android development. My name is Amol. I am an Android developer. I am working now since from 3 years. I have worked on various applications. I will try my best to make it more easy to you to understand. Now in Android there are we can say 3 or 4 major pillars. First is activity, services, intents, broadcast issuer. Today we will be learning about activities. What is an activity, life cycle of an activity, how we will implement the various methods in the life cycle of activity. So at the first, what is activity? Activity is an graphical user interface. So activity provides you a window, okay, in which you can put your UI components, and basically activity is what with user can interact. A user can focus on one thing. Basically, if I want to show you some example, now this is an aim indicator app, and the screen you can see, this is basically one activity. So whatever you see on the mobile screen is a single one activity, okay. And so there are many icons are placed on the screen, and with the help of this icon you can navigate and you can do whatever you want. So this is what activity does. But please don't mistake an activity as an UI component. Activity just provides you a window to for the interaction of the user. So it works as a graphical user interface basically. Activity life cycle, there are various methods in an activity life cycle. Now let me show you a demo application where we have a class called as main activity, which is extended by an activity. So this main activity is a subclass of an activity now, and you can see here various methods are there: on create, then on pause, on start, and all these methods are there. It is not mandatory to override or implement all the methods. You can implement it or override it according to your programming needs, whatever your programming logic is. But generally you will override the on create method. Let me highlight this method. Generally you will override the on create method. On create method is the first method that gets called in Android lifecycle, and then you have an set content view method. So as I told you, activity provides you a window to put your UI on UI widgets on it. So this is the method set content view. With the help of that you can inflate your layout in an activity. So with the help of set content view, so it basically sets the view on the activity. So you can see here there is a method called method set content view, and in that you have passed r dot layout dot activity underscore main. So r dot layout dot activity underscore main. Now just put aside this part, r dot layout. It's just it gives just a reference ID, but the main part is that activity underscore main. This is your XML file where you have designed your UI. So nothing much. This is just a simple text showing hello world, and this is your design view, and this is the programmatic view. So there is just a simple text showing hello world. Okay, it's rendering. So this is the XML file. So all the means your layouts and your widget, buttons, images, whatever it is written in the form of XML tags, and then it is rendered on your screen. So this is what it is taking some time to render. Okay, so to tell you more detail about activity life cycle, okay, we will proceed to this presentation. Okay, so this is the activity life cycle method. As you can see, activity launched. After activity launched, The first method that gets called is onCreate. In onCreate method, you do all the stuff such as inflating layout, data binding, and so all the basic stuff you will do in this onCreate method, because this onCreate method, it gets called only one in the life cycle of an activity. So after onCreate, you can see you have an onStart, onResume. After onResume, the activity is in a running state, but as soon as after onResume, activity is in running state, but as soon as some another activity comes in front of that previous activity, it will be called onPause will be called. So you can see onPause will be called. After onPause, if the activity is invisible, then onStop is called. And after onStop, of course, if the operating system kills the activity, then it becomes it is no longer visible in the it is no longer in the memory, and on destroy is called. And after on destroy, of course, activity is shut down. So this is the whole life cycle of the activity. In operating system, activities are stored on the stack, so on the stack on top of one another. So if we say, if activity A, at this instance activity A is in the foreground, okay, at the next instance activity B comes to the foreground, and activity A goes to the background, then in the memory stack activity B will be on top of them. So whichever activity is in the foreground is on the top of the stack, it's on the top of the memory stack. So this is, and as you can see, now this whole life cycle can be we can divide it in three phases. First is that the whole lifetime of the activity. Second is that the visible lifetime of the activity, and third is that the foreground lifetime of the activity. Now this onCreate method and onStop method, onCreate method and onCreate onCreate method and onStop method are the two methods in which we have a whole life cycle of an activity. Okay, after that, onCreate, you have an onStart method and onStop method. Now in between these two methods, onStop and onStart and onStop, we have a visible lifetime of an activity. So in this period, activity is visible. It may not be on the foreground, but it is visible. Okay, then we have onResume and onPause. Between this, the activity is in the foreground. So between these two methods, the activity is in the foreground. As soon as some another activity comes in front of that activity, then onPause will get called, and of course after the onStop. And all these methods are gets called means it is not like that after onPause directly onDestroy will get called. It is not like that. So they will get called sequentially. After onPause, onStop will be called. Yes, but it depends upon totally on the operating system, because if there is a low memory or low space is available, then after then operating system may call onStop, or it may not call onStop. So it depends upon it depends upon operating system. If there is a low space, then it may call onStop, and it will free the resources. It will free the resources that were occupied by that activity. So this is all about activity life cycle. Okay. Then next we will just have a look at how the Android project structure is. Okay, so you can see here, now this is the IDE, that is Integral Development Environment. This is Android Studio. Previously we used to work on Eclipse, but now we use Android Studio because Google has now taken support for Eclipse. So we have to use Android Studio now. So this is Android Studio 1.3.1, and this is the project structure. You can say we have Java file, then we have resource files, then we have Gradle script. Okay, in Java we have all Java files, such as now our main activity class will be in this Java folder, and all our resources, that is drawables means all your images and all are in resource folder. Your layouts, is in layout folder, menu, values will have string and all that stuff. So this is the small. Okay. Okay. Now what I have told you about activity, I just forgot to tell you one thing, that activity is in a package android.app.activity. Okay. And the on create method, it will have one parameter, that is bundle is nothing but the frozen state. So say previously activity was in some state, and if you navigate to some another activity, then you will get the data or the frozen state information with the help of this bundle. Okay, so that's all about the activity life cycle of an activity. And I hope you have understood the basics of activity. It's of course the most important part in an Android framework. Thank you.